What's going on, party people? Captain Zeus here, and I'm back with another review, and this one's over the Max Original DC Studios series, Creature Commandos, episodes 1 and 2. Now, this show did just drop today, so for those of you that have not seen it, spoiler warning up ahead, I will be going into some details about this episode. And if you like these reviews, please let me know in the comments below and your thoughts on them, and don't forget to like, subscribe, to show some support. I will say, just right off the bat, this series was not exactly what I was expecting it to be, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. Now, the way the first episode started off, it's very similar to how the trailers started off, where we're just kind of put right into the thick of things. Rick Flag and Amanda Waller, they're talking about there's this issue over in this different country. Rick Flag's got to go and assemble his team, and they're going to go and solve this issue. Not a lot of like introduction per se into the universe. However, throughout this episode, you realize that the universe has already been introduced to us because the events of Peacemaker Season 1 as well as the Suicide Squad movie are mentioned, both because of Rick Flag Jr.'s death that Rick Flag Sr. is dealing with, as well as the fact that the Suicide Squad, aka Task Force S, has been shut down because Amanda Waller was ousted by her daughter from Peacemaker. So it's a great way to have those be recognized in canon pretty early on. Now, I will also say, just as a general sense here, the animation for this show, I freaking love it. Now, there are some parts where they're using some CGI and it really stands out. And honestly, I just don't like CGI in 2D animated series. Like, it just doesn't look good. And you can notice it here, but it's not as bad as a lot of other anime in 2024. So it's nothing too crazy, but other than that, animation's really good. I love the art style. It's very unique. And the soundtrack is freaking fire. Love the soundtrack. Didn't even realize that the original score is made by Kevin Kiner. For those of you that don't know, Kevin Kiner is the same one that did the soundtrack for the likes of the Star Wars Rebels show, Star Wars Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and other Star Wars projects, or just other projects in general. A fantastic composer, and he's definitely worked on the OST for this series here. I thought this series was going to be a pretty grounded story, like a deep-rooted story. Come to my surprise, it's basically just like an Adult Swim series. That's really the vibe I get from this, because there's good action in there, there's funny lines, comedy's in there, and it's just an enjoyable thing to watch. You don't even have to pay attention to it. It's something you could also have on in the background, and it's perfectly fine, but if you were paying attention, you'd be super interested as to what's happening. And I don't know, like I said, it gives me Adult Swim cartoon vibes. Stuff that you'd be watching in the middle of the night where, you know, you're up late for whatever reason and you just want to put something on to forget about everything else. And if you're really into that show, you'd be watching it because of the continuing story. And that's just what I got from this. Also, the intro is freaking fire. Love the animation, love the theme for it, and I love the transitions between the intro and outro for each episode, even though it's just the two so far. Freaking awesome, smooth. It just gives me such good vibes from it. Now, I will say, just like character-wise, I love every single freaking character of Creature Commandos. They're the best. But each character I've really grown to like a lot. Specifically, the Bride and Dr. Phosphorus. Those two I didn't have any expectations for going into this show, and I was so into their characters by the end of the second episode. The Bride specifically, we are seeing so much of her character's backstory and just a lot of who she is and why she is the way she is, that you just can't help but feel bad for her. And I really want to know as to what's going to happen to her character throughout this show, because she's freaking badass. Like, she's awesome. Also, I do want to go into the fact that the Bride's backstory is kind of just effed. Frankenstein is just a man-child, which, you know, obviously, because I don't know how new he was to being resurrected, but Victor Frankenstein definitely seemed to be like, hey, you need to calm down, man. Like, you're still experiencing new things. I thought it was weird how, and you know, maybe it's just because of him being so new in terms of life and his fascination or infatuation of love, that he became so obsessed with the Bride. And so did Victor. I'm pretty sure Victor just fell in love with the Bride. And I think she fell in love with him too. Homie freaking smashed her on the same table she got resurrected in. And Frankenstein just saw the whole thing. And I'm like, bro, God, like, that house is just full of just drama and torment in some way. Frankenstein scared the Bride crazily. The Bride was into Victor, but I thought for at least the first while, it was more of parental, but it seemed to definitely grow into romantic. And Victor kind of in the same boat until he died, which was nuts. And it just showed that freaking Frankenstein was after the bride throughout all of history, constantly chasing her down, which is so, I don't know, that's so weird. I definitely want to know more about why he is the way he is. I'm interested to see more about Frankenstein's character for sure. But dog, this show is like, I know it's like chill, but it's also freaking wild. In the same episode, we've had 2 sex scenes, one via flashback, one non-flashback, and they're both under pretty wild circumstances. So it's a super chill show, but it's also just like, this is pretty wild. Dr. Phosphorus, I could tell that homie is crazy as a nut job, but also's got some layers to him. He's just cool though. I don't know what it is about him. He's just cool. Now, the princess is so sus. The princess is the biggest red flag out of this whole thing. Obviously, she sleeps with Rick Flag Sr. because when you're in a country full of idiots, you know, you want to smash something attractive and intelligent, I suppose. But dude, she's just been giving me bad jujus. I think she's probably poisoning her mom or is killing her mom and is doing everything with Cersei behind closed doors to make her become queen easier. I don't know, but I'm telling you, she's going to be the big bad in the end. But yeah, honestly, like each episode was like 20 something minutes. I thought it was going to be longer. I thought they were going to be like 40-minute episodes, but I'm kind of glad with them being short 20-minute episodes. You know, this is something that they could probably air on Adult Swim. Like, this show didn't really stand out as amazing. It's not like a 10 out of 10 show for me. It's really enjoyable though. Like, if I was to rate both episodes, I would say they're both equally like an 8 out of 10. The story was compelling. I was super interested in it. The adult humor and just the action, you know, also was just an awesome touch. The characters are cool. The character designs, the animation, artwork, everything just flowed well. It was just a really enjoyable show. And I think if you're a DC fan, I think you'll enjoy this. I think if you're a fan of James Gunn's work, you'll definitely enjoy this. And even if you're not super big into either, I think if you just go into this just to watch it, I think you'll also enjoy it. But that's just me. I mean, I didn't really have too many big things to point out in this other than the fact that, you know, it's the first entry into the DCU. It's the first official DCU project with the new DC Studios banner. Also, the DC Studios like intro, classic, original Superman. But at the same time, I feel like it should change either depending on the project or the era or like the chapter that they're in or just in general. It's really simplistic and there's not an issue with it, but I feel like they could do more. You know, like the Worlds of DC intro that they had during like the Snyderverse, I thought that was dope as frick. I love that intro. It'd be cool if they used that for the DC Elseworlds intros, but otherwise, it's not really growing on me. But that's not even a huge issue. My thing is, this show is gonna be pretty good. I can't wait for the next episode. And yeah, I mean, what did you guys think? Have you guys seen it yet? If you have, let me know in the comments below your thoughts on it. You know, what stood out to you? What are you excited for? And if you haven't seen it, are you excited to go watch it now? Do you want to go and give it a shot? Because honestly, I think this is something that everyone should give a shot. At least these first 2 episodes, because they're really enjoyable. They're short. It's 20 something minutes per. But anyways, I'm Captain Zeus. I will catch you guys later. See ya.